iCommunity shines a light on the wide array of community news, arts and culture, and prolific charity efforts within the Asian diaspora networks. It's where the global Indian impact on the ground is celebrated. Log on at iglobalnews.com.
Hello and welcome to the Living Bridge Conversations. My name is Ekta and I'm the host for these wonderful conversations today. And I'm joined by Avanti Pethe. Avanti is a certified Hatha Yoga instructor at Isha Foundation. And besides that, she's also an architect by profession. She did her first Isha program when she was 10-year old and has been actively involved with the foundation since completing her teacher training program in 2015. She has conducted over 500 programs across India, the UK, and Europe. So, Avanti, so glad to have you on the show with me here today, and wonderful to meet you here.
Pleasure to be here, Ekta. My privilege. Thank you.
And Avanti and me, we were just having this conversation just before we came live on how I always, in my mind, dream to be doing the perfect yoga, but how my body is never quite there yet. I feel it's very, in fact, inflexible, but we'll speak more about it. But Avanti, yoga is a very, in my mind, because I'm a very spiritual person, in my mind, yoga is a very deep spiritual practice. And I think in the Western world, it has come as in the form of a physical exercise to lose weight. It's just not that. It's got a deeper significance about it, isn't it? And it's something that brings more harmony about in your life. So when did this journey start from you? In 10 years, I mean, how did you even start then?
To be very honest, I was introduced by my parents because they did the program with Isha when I was a child, and I did the children's program then. I had no understanding of it. I did it and I wasn't the best practitioner, to be very honest. You know how it is, right? Because your parents tell you to do it, you kind of cheat sometimes, you can do it. But somewhere it sowed the seed that when I started growing up, when I was 22, I realized that there's something so fundamentally true about it. And it makes such a dramatic difference in how I am and how I can be, that it just pulled me back. So the seed was sown at that time. And it just made me realize that this has the fundamentals of how to lead a better life, how to make my well-being my own. So that's how it started.
And of course, it has something. It's obviously given you something that you have carried on through your life. So you've trained with Isha Foundation. So what is Hatha Yoga? I mean, I didn't. For someone who is unaware of the types of yoga we have, and you specialize in Hatha Yoga, what exactly is that?
So there are two ways to put this across. Now, in an Indian context, in the word hatha, for a lot of us in our languages, we would have heard of the word adamant, which means hatha or shakti. So you need a quality like that to be adamant. The body says, no, I give up, I cannot do this. You're adamant that you'll do it. We say, no, not today. Maybe I don't want to wake up in the morning, but we're still adamant to do it. So that's a quality we mean. But the deeper and the real meaning of hatha is ha means sun and ta means moon. So this also refers to, the sun is referring to the pingala or the right channel of the body, and ida, which is the left channel of the body. And it's about bringing a balance between the two. So Hatha Yoga is a science of balancing the system within. Now, it may be through asana, it may be through other practices, but everything is not necessarily on the physical realm. But in effect, you're bringing a balance to your system.
Wow. So wow, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I would just see this as hatha, as in my body actually saying, no, you can't do this. And you've got to just move beyond that and actually do it. So it's essentially just is bringing that balance in your mind, body, and soul, isn't it?
Yes, it's bringing a balance within your system. See, if we look at how the body is made, we have a body like a physical body. We have the mental structure, so we have the mind, we have our emotions, and we have the energy that keeps us going or powered through. So getting all these four in a certain alignment makes our life much easier and smooth. If the mind and body happen the way we want to, and our emotions also happen in the same way, we feel great, isn't it? That we're energetic, mind, thought, emotion, and body is doing well. So it's about bringing this alignment to the system, and that's what the practices do. They bring all these four together in one line. So
So
it's
you
like you have a
started.
car. Sorry.
No, no, you can carry on, please.
It's like a car with four wheels to just make sure all four wheels are in alignment, and then you can go straight. So
Yeah, but you started very young, at the age of 10, practicing yoga. How has this helped you in your academics, in your studies, as a person to grow up with? What has been the impact of it on you?
I would say it made me much more efficient. I wouldn't
Mm,
take that long to study. Like if usually it would be a 2 hour, 3 hour thing, I could finish it in an hour and a half or quicker, or I had more stamina to do a lot of extracurricular with my academics. So I would say it made me take on more. It allowed me to do a lot more without feeling I can't do this. Oh, it's so pressurizing. That was never a thought that I even had. It's just like, of course I can do it. Let me take it on. So that's what it brought in, and it brought in a lot of stability. That this the way of I think just bringing a balance to the body and mind makes you go through things with ease, so you don't get anxious or stressed out or worried. Those things don't start coming in very easily because the body and mind is stable.
and did you read a lot of text, spiritual text as well, to go along with this, or was just yoga the only practice that you did?
Not at all, and that's something that I actually appreciate what Sadhguru has always said is that go by your experience, don't go by what is being said, because that is true for somebody else. We cannot deny it. But the
Yeah.
most important thing is if we experience something of our own, then you know the value of what has been given and you know what a difference it makes to us. So it's about making it our experiential reality constantly.
Obviously, because we all are on our own individual journeys, and that our bodies are different, our mind is different, our impressions on our souls, imprints, everything is different. But again, on human level, like you said, that a very clear impact of it is that you have less stress, and as a student, you are more efficient. So, are there some tips that you can just give to people like me, or who are sitting on the desk all day, not really moving about, or very much doing yoga in their mind, thinking that it's happening? But what can we do, simple things that can get us started, students or initiators who want to be initiated, like, into this yoga?
So there are a few ways we can look at it. First is to just invest, say, even 10 minutes or 15 minutes for your well-being each day. Even if it's a small start, it's fine, but something regular would definitely help. Uh, in regard with stress specifically, this is an offering that we have. It's there online for free for everyone to access. It's called Isha Kriya. It's a 12-minute process. It's completely guided. It's not that you have to move or do anything physically, but it's just a certain way where you will find a certain distance between your body and your mind. So there's a little bit of space for you to enjoy what's happening around you, even if there's a lot of it's very chaotic on the outside, but you have a little space where you're able to see it from a certain distance. So the regular practice of a few meditations or yoga can definitely help. So I would say Isha Kriya is something that you can easily find and take up. You can even do it at bedtime if you've had a really long day, you've not had time to do anything in the day. 12 minutes before you go to bed, do Isha Kriya, and you'll find a difference. The only other concern would be with yoga, only if you do it, it works. So it needs a certain regularity, like it's like if you want to cook food, you put it on the stove, you put some rice on the stove, and then you keep turning on and turning off the flame constantly. The rice will never be cooked, isn't it? So you just need to leave the flame on, and that's something that we need to just take up. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, it can start small for our well-being.
But
And
what can we do? Sorry, yes, please.
and I
Sorry.
think another point would be food. So, bringing a certain awareness to how we eat can make a huge difference in how we experience, perceive, and feel life around us. So, I think a lot of us are tuned to eating based on culture, based on ethics, morals, and all of that. But food is about the body. Food is about learning to listen to the body very clearly, because body can very clearly tell us what makes it happy and what doesn't, isn't it? If we eat something, it makes us feel sluggish and slow, and then you need to pump it up with caffeine or nicotine to keep the body alive. It's telling you, I'm not happy. But the moment you eat something that makes you feel alive, energetic, and you're feeling really good, the body is saying I'm happy. So learning to listen to the body, to also eat consciously, is very important. It can make things very dramatically different within how we experience life as well.
But I'm thinking, I'm hearing you, and I'm understanding everything that you're saying, and it's making so much sense. But I'm a food lover, and I feel that I do meditate. I'm a very spiritual person. I meditate. I'm very much grounded in that level. But when it comes to doing something as yoga, or somewhere someone tells me, take care of your food. This is what you should not be eating. There is a mental block that just comes there. How do I cross that? I mean, I think I initially thought of that by meditation. Gradually, it will come. But is it something that you have to just do in harmony, together? I mean, how do I cross this mental barrier in my mind that connecting my body with it suddenly?
That's very true. So as you said, even if you keep up a practice, automatically the body will tell you this is not working for me. But if that's not there right now, it doesn't mean you shouldn't eat. It doesn't mean you have to eat everything in one type of way. No. Experiment. That's the whole point. Experiment and just listen to what the body's saying. Eat everything you normally do. Today you eat this, just see how you feel. Tomorrow you eat that, see how you feel. The point is, how do you want to eventually feel? You want to feel well, you want to feel agile, you want to feel energetic. So once you know that how different things impact you, you will consciously choose how you basically want to feel at the end of the day, isn't it? So you choose to eat what you wish to. So it doesn't have to be that don't eat this, don't eat that, nothing like that. Experiment. Just be aware of how every food has its own impact. Whether we eat processed, it has this impact. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It has that impact. You eat this kind of food, it has this impact. That just be observant. Once you know what does what to your system, you'll very consciously choose what you want to do for yourself, isn't it?
And I think it will come very naturally because you're working so hard on your body, and it will come very naturally to you. So, wow, what a beautiful insight you've given me. We'll just go for a short break here, and we'll come back with Avanti more on yoga and more about Isha Foundation there.
iGlobal Radio is the brand new hub of podcasts for and about global Indians. News, views, interviews, wellness, money matters, and much, much more. Tune in to iGlobal Radio at iglobalnews.com.
Welcome back to iGlobal Living Bridge Conversations. I have Avanti Pethe with me, and she is a Hatha Yoga practitioner and also an architect. So Avanti, as we were speaking earlier, that yoga is something that is beyond just connecting to your body and being fit. It's very transformational in a sense. And for many people, it is the catalyst to a completely new life, not just in their body, also in their mind. So how has yoga helped you in your personal and your professional life? Because you're an architect. Is there something that you carry from here that just works there?
Yes, definitely. I would say in terms of how it has helped me, the most important thing is balance. It's brought in a sense of balance for me. And as you mentioned, the practices are transformational. So just a few days of doing the practices, and I started noticing that I can be so much more emotionally balanced, and that balance helps me have clarity in what I want to do. And that also helps me increase my efficiency or productivity. So these are benefits that I found with regular practice, that this is the impact I'm having. In terms of when I was practicing as an architect, the one thing that it brought is I could juggle. Because you know how it is, right? Like you've got these contractors, you've got labor, you've got the clients, you've got your design, you've got 100 things happening parallelly. But it's all fine. I could find a way to work it out without it eating me, which was not happening earlier. So that's where I could feel the difference of I could handle a situation much better within myself first. Because if I'm feeling okay within myself, then I can address the outside much better. So I think that was a big impact that I noticed for myself.
That makes so much sense. So consider the situation. You are in this chaos. You're in your day is going all chaotic. What do you tell yourself immediately? Just Give us an example of it immediately to just come back to that balance. How do you use yoga there immediately?
So basically, there's one of Isha's flagship program here called Inner Engineering Online, and there it offers you tools of how to make your life the way you want to. So suppose I find a very like crazy situation, I just take a breath and I'd be like, I have so many ways in which I can respond to this situation. I don't have to be compelled to respond in an angry way or something. I have a choice to choose how I want to respond to something. So, and a certain acceptance of what is in front of me and choosing to respond gives me the freedom of not getting stressed because I'm choosing to respond. I'm not reacting to that, and then that affects me in the whole cycle that follows. So I think these are tools. Like regular practice gives you the tool to make sure that you use it at the right time, and I feel that works.
Yeah, because I was having this conversation with someone earlier, and the whole conversation was about having these happiness itself. And I said, well, it's not that we all will not get sad or we all will not face chaos, because that's completely against the human nature. If we are born, we will at times face chaos, and there will be moments when we will be thinking that we might just get angry. But I think what spirituality or a practice like yoga does is it gives you that comeback time becomes easier. That comeback becomes more easier for you because suddenly something is telling you that you've got to switch off, isn't it?
Yeah, it tells you that I completely agree with you because you can never control situations on the outside. There's something that may constantly happen. It's more about how are we responding to it. And that's where yoga brings a certain level of consciousness and awareness in how we respond, how we speak, what am I choosing to act upon. So this is what it does. It just gives you the choice of action.
And tell us about what your day looks like. I mean, when you wake up, do you meditate? How long do you do yoga for to come to this level?
There's no level, to be honest. It's constant striving and plenty to do, lots to grow. Um, I started on 5 and I do my practices for about 3.5 to 4 hours a day in the morning. And then I have a brunch and then I work. I work through the day. I do a couple of small 10-15 minute meditations twice. And then I have my dinner around sunset 7ish. And yeah, that's about it. Like if I find time for a walk, I do that. But I invest my day. I start my day like this because it's like a foundation. Once the footing is stable, the day goes well. So I can see the difference if on a day that I miss something or I do something lesser. It's completely different in my experience of how the day has gone through.
And discipline, it seems, is a natural outcome of the lifestyle that you are living. I mean, of yoga itself, isn't it?
Yeah,
Self-discipline.
I would agree because it's like to give you an example, this is something that Sadhguru says that when we were young, if you had to brush your teeth, now somebody like our mother or somebody made 6 months, 1 year, every day they made sure that we brushed our teeth twice a day. They said no breakfast, no brushing, no breakfast. They did something to make sure that we brush. Now today we're anyway brushing every day. We don't question it. It's not because it's a habit, because you know the significance of what it does. And it's the same with yoga. It's not about making it a habit. You know the significance of what this does to you. And that's why I do it. It's not because I have to do it. I want to do it because it makes a difference to me. So that's where when you taste this difference, you know that you want to do something that works for yourself. Right?
Yeah, I always often wonder why are not other children, like your journey started when you were 10-year-old, and it has obviously had a very positive impact in your life. You're very successful in your life in whatever field you're doing because there is a huge contribution of yoga there. Do you think parents must invest more in their child's life and bring yoga a lot more there? How can we explain children in a very simple way that yoga is good for them, or are they just some small things, exercises, just I don't know, there's some mudras or something that they can just do to increase their focus or concentration there?
This is two pronged. There's definitely yoga for children that works. We have curated programs for children that from 7+ that they can do. And right now with the pandemic, because it's not possible for us to do this, there are also offerings online called Upa Yoga, which is safe for any child above 7, which helps them with concentration and all of that. But the most important aspect, at least for me personally, because my parents practiced it every day, I saw they did something irrespective of how crazy their day was. They made sure they did it. That impacted me more because my parents valued that. And I saw that they also had some value for it. That's why I took it up. If they only insisted that I do it, I don't think I'd have done it. And I was not the best practitioner, to be very, very honest. Okay, I used to cheat a lot. But somewhere it sowed the seed that this is making sense. This is why they're doing it. The day they do it, they're different. And I saw that happen in adults around me. And I understood that this works. So I think both helps. Creating an ambience is one aspect. And of course, there are practices for children. So I think both go hand in hand.
Fabulous. And Isha Foundation, I'm a huge fan of Sadhguru, and who isn't, with his wisdom and the knowledge that he gives in a very practical way. He tells about things in a very practical way. So how has Isha Foundation helped you in this whole journey? Has it made you understand things in a different way? Tell us something about what this whole experience has been for you.
If I think what I would be without it, I cannot, to be honest, right now. I feel like it's just making my life into an offering has brought such a sense of fulfillment which I cannot express in any kind of words. At the same time, being empowered that I have the tools in my hand. I don't have to ask for somebody how to be, what to do, but I've got the tools of how I can be within myself. That's very empowering because then the blame game stops. It's all in my hands to just make it work. And that feels very liberating that I can do what I can and they work, at least in my experience, because if you keep up with them, it's not just Isha, any yoga done in its authentic form will work. So I feel I definitely owe it to Sadhguru that he's around, he's giving us these practices. It's a massive privilege that we're around when he's there and to learn what we can do.
Yes. So, is there anything that you remember that anything that Sadhguru has told you that has stayed with you when you practice yoga or in your own spiritual personal journey?
I think for me, just the way he is such a example of how to be. Living the schedule he does, the life he does, almost 20 hours, 22 hours a day, 45 years, he's been on and on and on, relentlessly doing probably 100 projects at the same time maintaining the integrity of what we're offering, making sure what we're doing is the way we are. He just sets the example of how to be. And I think that's something that inspires me enormously because I have a long way to go, but the inspiration of seeing somebody doing this is amazing. It's a privilege.
It is to have a person of his knowledge around you as a guide itself is a bliss I think you get after many lifetimes of work on yourself, I suppose. That's my own belief there. But I would just like to ask you at the end, what do you think are the common misconceptions around this word yoga? Do you think there are any, first of all?
I think there are plenty. So I think, as you even mentioned in the earlier part, that when you say yoga, most people think it's about twisting and turning, or yoga means standing on your head. Normal means standing on your feet. So yoga is not a practice. Yoga is not about doing something. Yoga is about being in a certain way. Yoga means union. So we're in a certain state of union between us and the way the existence is. So we may use a practice, we may use a meditation, but it's about you being in a state of yoga. That is what yoga is about. So it's, in terms of misconception, it's not a physical exercise, definitely. It's got something that can fundamentally transform the very way we function. It can ease out so much within us and make us joyful. At the same time, come in tune with how existence is, how nature has made us. And I think that's the power of it that is missing sometimes.
Yeah, I think when I think of yoga, I think it's become very trendy. But what it's missing is the spirituality behind it, isn't it? Because I mean, even though I'm such a spiritual person and I know yoga, I still had to search what Hatha Yoga means, and I didn't know until now. Like you said, it's about balancing your left and right side. It's about coming into balance. So there's a lot of scientific reason behind everything in yoga, isn't it?
Absolutely. In fact, it's such a subtle science of whether I keep my hand like this or like this. Things
Okay.
change in the way the body. You want to
Would
try
you?
an experiment if we have 2
Yes,
minutes?
please. Of course, would love to.
Keep your 5 fingers together,
Okay.
and I'll just go through the instructions now. You place them on your thighs facing down, and
Okay.
then you'll take a few deep inhalations and exhalations. When I say switch, you turn your palms over. And then again, you continue to take a few deep inhalations and exhalations. I'll say switch again, you turn them back. Now, in both of these movements, you'll have to notice how the air enters you and where you find the maximum expansion and contraction happening within you. Okay? So we just try this.
Okay.
Very simple.
Okay.
Close your eyes. You can keep
Okay.
your palms facing down, all 5 fingers together, eyes
Mhm.
closed, focused on your breath. Few inhalations, deep inhalations and exhalations. Switch again. Switch back. And slowly open your eyes.
Mhm.
Do you find any difference when your palms are down or up?
I think I was so conscious of switching it when I going to say it. I didn't notice it, but um, yeah, I mean, I was conscious of my breathing in the beginning, and then I switched it, and I forgot, was I inhaling or was I exhaling?
No worries. We can. How it works is when your palms are down, there'll be more contraction and expansion around your diaphragm area. And when you turn your palms up, you'll see it in the upper part, moving up. You can try
Really?
this again. Just keep your
Okay.
palms down. Just close your eyes and just breathe. Take one breath
Mm.
and then you switch.
Oh, yes, I noticed that this time.
So
How
just
is
a
that?
simple hand movement can alter the very way you breathe. It does not just
Wow.
alter your breath, it alters the very way the energies work in our system. So, how many times in a day are we doing this, this? No, no, we're doing so much and we're setting our whole system into turmoil, and then we're wondering why are we stressed? What are we doing? So, that's a way of bringing your system to a certain understanding of what the body is, how subtle it is, and how we can work with it.
But that's so interesting because the whole thing is about this yoga and harmony and being in a very positive mindset is about understanding how your breath is, isn't it? We get
That's
angry,
very
our breath becomes agitated. We are nervous, it becomes agitated. And so just by doing this, is this something that you do to just balance it out, or
This is just
or
an
you become
experiment.
aware of it? Maybe you just become aware of it, isn't it?
Yes, you start aligning your system that it comes to your awareness quicker. And that's what the
Mm.
practice is doing.
And the more aware you become, the more respect you have for it, and more control, I suppose, you feel. I suddenly felt I had the control on, oh, it's actually, I'm just changing the position of my hand and I'm just controlling where the breath goes. How beautiful. How amazing. I'm certainly, I think I'm just almost there with the yoga thing, but it's something that I've deep admiration for anyone who does it, for people who actually regularly practice it, because I feel that it is whatever stage you are in your spiritual journey, if you think you are in that journey, at some point you will naturally come to yoga to somewhere understand that, or I think complete that alignment.
Mhm.
I suppose if that is the right thing. I don't know if you have to tell me if I said the right thing, but
Well,
that's what I think.
I think so in a sense that Sadhguru says this is a technology for inner well-being. So the moment you're seeking something, you're searching for something that's deep within you. That's the source of what makes us. If you're seeking something, you will look for what is this, and yoga is one science that offers you the technology of how to use your system as it is, just by a very deep perceptive understanding of this body. So yeah, it will lead
Wow,
there.
how to use your system. So you suddenly connect to your body as a system. What a deeply inspiring conversation it has been for me, and certainly one that I will always cherish. And thank you so much for being here today. I don't know if you have any comments that we can take or not. I'm not able to see any at the minute, but thank you so much, Avanti. it's been an honor to speak to you, and hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you so much.
iEntertainment is brought to you by iGlobal for all the latest film and series reviews, starry interviews and cinema listings covering Bollywood and beyond to reflect a truly pan-Indian entertainment spectrum. Check out the latest at iglobalnews.com.